Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. So today I will be discussing about these two methods, put and patch. So these are the HTTP methods that we use in our APIs. So that is what I'm going to cover today. So what is the difference between the put and patch? That is the one thing I will cover, and how we can implement this, and at what scenario which of the methods is required. So I will just explain you through the real-time example. So let's get it started. So I already have created one Spring Boot project, okay, and that project is available on the GitHub. I will just ping the GitHub repository. So this is a simple CRUD related Spring Boot project. So I have created the user entity, and user has some instance like ID, name, father name, address, and age, and user repository, which is I'm using the JPA repository for it, and then coming to the service, I have created couple of service methods like insert user, get user by ID, get all the users, update user by ID, update fields of the user by ID, and delete user by ID. So this method I have not implemented yet. I will implement and then show you. Okay, and then coming to the implementation of insert and the get users, I already implemented these methods. So I like this is the insert method. Okay, and this is uh, like you might be knowing that how we are going to insert the record of users into the database. So for that I have auto-wired the user repository instance here, and then with the help of the JPA provided methods I'm just going to save the user. So save is a JPA provided method. So I'm just with the help of the user repository I'm calling that method and just inserting the user record there. Similar way for the when I'm getting the user by ID, I'm using the JPA method, and similar for finding all the record of from the user ID from the user table. Okay, so coming to the database. Okay, before that, I'm just going to show you the controller. So I have created the controller for insert, get, and find all. Okay, so the put and patch method I have not implemented yet. Okay, I'm going to implement that and then I will show you. So before that, I'm just going to brief you about the database that I'm using. So I'm using the MySQL as a database, and I have created with this application running, you can see this user table is created into the database. So before going to the database, I will just show you the configuration that I did. So here you can see we have provided couple of configuration for the database connectivity and some SQL and Hibernate queries things. So you can see I provided the username, password, URL, and the driver name. And here we are making the show SQL query as a true, which is showing the query into the log file that. And similar way for the Hibernate format SQL query, we are making it true so that we can also see what query it is firing when it is running up. Okay, or whenever we are hitting the API, what query it is firing. So we can see here into the log files. Okay, and this application is up on 9190 port. So these are the configuration. Coming to the database, so you can see here in the database I have created CRUD user app, which is also I have provided here CRUD user app, and then uh, with the help of this application up, you can see it fired the create table query. So you can see user table is created into the database. That is what you can see here. Let me refresh this table and then you can see. So you can see user table is there. I have inserted one record with the help of this postman. So I inserted this record. This is the API for that. Okay, so I inserted this record. Similar way, you can also insert the other record. Say it's Rahul, name is Rahul, and father name is Ranjan, something like that. And the address is Delhi, age is 25 only. So I'm just going to send it. So it is inserted there. So coming to the database, you can also fire the select query, and then you can see that this is inserted. So we can see that insert is working fine for us, and Similar way for the get also, it will be working. Let me see how it is working for the get also or not. So what is the get API? I just need to see and then we'll show what we can do. So coming to the controller, you can see get mapping is user and slash ID. So we can find by ID and then another get is to find all. So find all is the another one. So let me find by ID first and then I'm just going to find the ID first user. So you can see it is giving some error. Okay, before that it is API is there. So just do it. Okay, the method that we are using is it should be get, not post. So you can see the first ID is coming up. Okay, and then similar way you can also see for find all, and then we can come and see what we can do. So find all is also working fine. So now I'm going to create the APIs as well as develop the method for the update. For update, we are using the put mapping, and how the put mapping is different for the patch mapping that will also explain. Okay, so before going to the patch, I'm just going to develop the API for the put, and then we'll develop the API for the patch, and then we'll discuss the difference between both of them. So coming to IntelliJ, okay, here I'm just going to, I already have created this uh, user update user by ID method. Okay, I'm just going to implement it. So here you can see update user by ID is there, and here we are passing the user instance and then ID. So with the help of the ID, we are just getting the user from the user table, and then what we are doing, we are updating that user record. Okay, with the help of the request that will be sending. So this request we will be sent from the postman. Okay, and then with the help of this record, we'll update the existing user from the database. Okay, and then we'll save it. So I'm just going to retrieve first the data, the user based upon the ID from the database. We'll make some set changes and then we'll insert back to the database. So coming to the user from DB, and then what I'm going to do is with the help of the user repo, I'm just going to find the user from the ID. And the ID that we are providing here is ID. Okay, so it will fetch out and then get. So it will fetch out the user from the database and it will insert it here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is based upon this user, we are just going to update the fields of the user from the DB. Okay. So user from DB dot set. Let's say we are going to set the name, not ID. So set name, and from where we are going to get the name is from user. Okay. Similar way for other fields we need to do set the address. Before that, you're going to set the father name, get the father name. Similarly, for the address as well, set address and user get address and user from DB. Then set the what is the age and then get the age from the user. So user get age. Okay. So we are done with this, and then what I'm going to do. The first step is we are just first step it is we are just going to get the user from the database. Okay, first. Second is we are going to update the user based upon the request that we are sending, and the third step is we are just inserting back this user into the database after the update. Okay, so user from DB. Before that, user report dot save user from DB. Okay, so we are inserting back. So this is the update. So I'm just going to create the API for the update. So here in API we will be using the patch mapping, sorry, put mapping for the update. So I'm just going to get put mapping here and update by ID, something like that will do. So just let it like update and slash id. Okay, and here it should be returning the user, not the list of user. Okay, so user, and here what we are providing as a parameter is a a request body, and that is the user, and the second argument is a path variable which is a integer, which is a id. Okay, of integer type. So I'm done with this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to what I will do, yeah, put mapping this. So I'm just directly going to call the user service IMPL method of for update. So let me see, update user by id, and we'll pass user here and then id here. So we are done. Now let me change this name, update user by id, update user by id. Okay, so I'm just going to rerun this application and see how put is performing. So what I'm going to do is just update the user record. Okay, so let it up and then we'll see. So come to the postman, it is up on 9190. Come to the postman, here you can see API is common for all, and then we need to go for update if you are updating, and then we need to provide the ID. So I'm going to update the user ID too. Okay, and I'm going to change the name as something like Raj, father name as Pankaj, something like that. Address is Delhi and age is 25 only. So I will just send it and then we'll see. Okay, let me change this to the put. Okay, it is updated. You can say the name was like earlier the name was something else, and now it become Ranjan and Pankaj as a father name. So we can see these details are changed in the database also. Just refresh it and you can see it. Okay, so put is working fine, but coming to the put, there is a uh, glitch, or there is a, I would say, uh, what I can say, there is a mistake that is there, or there is a error that we, what I can say, there is a glitch for this put. Okay, so what is that glitch? I am just going to show you. So if you want to update a particular user ID, but you don't want to update whole records, whole fields for that particular user ID, then what you will do? So in that case, put will fail. So if you want to update the user too, but not whole fields of that user, okay, you want to update only two fields of that particular user, like name and father name only, and you are not going to provide the address and age. So in that case, what will happen? I'm just going to show you that thing and then we'll see. So I'm just going to update the user too, and I'm just going to update the name of the user and the father name of that particular user. So let's say name is something Akash, and then father name is let's say Ajay, something like that. And we are just updating this user too with this name and father name. Okay, I'm just going to send it, and we are not sending the other two fields, which is address and age. Then what it is happening with these two fields? So automatically these two fields become null. So this should not be the ideal case. Okay. So when dealing with the put, what we need to do, whenever you are going to update anything with the record, whole record need to be updated. Whole fields need to be updated. Not a particular field we can update with the help of put. Otherwise, say if you have a 100 instance of a user, okay, and then like if you say you have 100 fields for the particular user, okay, and then you are going to update only two fields or three fields, then you cannot provide this two or three fields directly as a request body. Else what will happen, if you're going to change only three fields and you're not providing all other fields, then all other fields will be set to null. So that is the mistake I was talking about the put. So how we can overcome it? So whenever you are going to update some particular field, okay, then don't go for the put, go for the patch. So there come the patch. So I'm going to create a API for the patch, and then we'll show you how you can overcome this mistake, overcome this error. Okay, so coming back to the patch, I'm just going to develop it. So CRUD, uh, so here in the user service, I already have created one method called update fields of user by ID. So what we are providing here? So we are giving here the user ID. Okay, so we what we'll do, we'll just find out the particular user from the database. How we are finding for the update also. So we'll find out the user from the database, and then based upon the key and value fields, like if you want to update the key, say name, and its value is some value you are going to provide. So we'll put those things in the form of map. Like here you can see we are providing these things as a key value pair, right? So this key value pairs will put in the form of map, and then we'll provide as an argument. So what will happen? So when you are going to update the things, then from the map it will fetch out the key, and then it will see for what key we are going to update the value. Okay, so that is how it is working. So let me go to the IntelliJ. Here I've created this thing and I'm going to implement it. So you can see this is the thing, user field of sorry, update field of user by ID. We are providing the user ID and the map, which is a key value pair. What key we need to update? Okay, so that thing I'm going to do now. So let's say first thing what we need to do, we need to find out the user from the database. So I'm just going to do that user from DB, and then what I will do, uh, user repository dot find by ID, and here we'll provide the ID. Okay, and then dot get. So that is done. Now I will iterate the whole map one by one. Like you cannot only provide the one key value pairs in the map, you can put so many key value and pairs. So each key value and pair will see and will match it to the instance. Like if you have provided the key value pairs as a name and father name. Okay, so what we'll do? So first what we're going to do, we are just iterating the map. So first time we'll get the key as a name, and then uh, what we'll do, we'll just update the value for the name only from this user, and then save it back to the database. And similar way, when we are going for the second iteration, we'll get the father name, and then we'll update the father name for this particular user, and then save it to the database. So that thing we are going to do. So let me go for this map, and its type is string, and then optional is the thing. And let's say, yeah, HM, and map we are providing as a thing and entry set. Okay, okay, let me do. Yeah, this should be reference of map that we are providing here. So map dot. Okay, not a problem. Mm, map dot entry, which is string, map dot hm, map dot entry set. Here you can provide the type, which is of a string type, And like this, for this scenario only, I'm just going to create the map. Like we are providing the key as a string and the value should be optional. Okay, so let's say it is what was the optional? Okay, so now what we'll do, we are just iterating the map. Okay, so first time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find out the uh, key. Okay, and we'll put that key into some particular what's a particular reference. So let's say it is key from map, something like that, and then hm dot get key. Okay, and now what I will do, I will just see what the key contains. It can contain all the instance that we have provided here, like name, father name, address, and age, right? So I'm just going to see what is that. So key from map dot equals. So I'm directly hard coding it here, which is it can be name because we have only a couple of instances here, right? So we can directly hard code it and then see. If it is equal to name, then we'll come to the here and then what we'll do, we'll get the value, okay, from the map and then we'll try to insert it into the user from DB instance. So if it is name, then what we need to do, get the value first, which is of optional type. So we need to convert it to the either of a string, like the name is of a string type. So we need to convert it to the string, right? And then we'll insert it to the database. So that thing we need to do here. So here I'm going to create one string object, string obj, something like that we can do. And then uh, coming to the map dot get value, not map hm dot get value. Okay, and dot. So this should be mapping to the string. Either we can do it to string, yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert it there into the database. So I got the value which is of a string type. Now user from db dot set name, and this should be the obj should be the value for this obj. Okay, similar way we can do for the others things as well. Other fields like uh, say if it is name, then it can be of father name and get the value for this, and then this same can be address, and this time it can be age. So age should be of integer type. So we need to convert this to the integer dot value of this. So this should be of integer type, integer obj, integer dot value of this. I'm getting some error. String value of, okay, let me do like this only first and then we'll see. And then set age, set address, and set father name. So what we did is we are just unwrapping the map. Okay, and then what we are going to do, we are just getting the first, we are getting the key and we are matching. If it is a key is a name, then we are just going to update the name for that particular DB. for that particular instance which we are getting from the database. Similarly, if you need to update the father name, then we are doing that. And similarly for the address and age. So we are going for these things. Now what I will do, I will just try to insert back that user and then uh, yeah, insert back that user and then return. So I'm going to call user repo dot save and user from DB and then return. So we are good with this. Now coming to the controller, let me create one controller. So I'm just going to copy this and then update it for the put to patch mapping. Okay, and then we'll update by patch, something like that. Update by patch. Okay, and then ID is there. Now what we are going to provide here. So we are providing two fields. One is ID and another is the map. So ID should be the path variable here. And let's say it's update by patch, something like that. And the another is a request body, which is a map, right? Of a string and optional. Let's say map. Let me include it. And here we are passing ID. Let me call that value first. Sorry, call that method first, and then update field by user ID and ID, and then map. So yeah, we are good. Now let me rerun it and then see how it is working. So before that, yeah, come to the database and then see what all the record are there. So just run it. You can see the address and age for this Akash is null. So I'm just going to update it and then we'll see what we can do. So come to the postman. Let's say address and it should be Noida and age. Let's say age and let's say it is 24, something like that. And why it is coming like this? Okay, name is this. Okay, here it is giving the error. Okay, let me send it and then see. So it is updated. You can also come to the database and see if it is updated or not. It is updated, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove these two and then try to hit the patch one. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make the name change as ABC and XYZ as a father name. And what we are doing, we are just updating by patch. Update by patch. So come to the API and see if it is the URL or what is that. Update by patch and then ID we need to provide. So come to the postman, update by patch and then ID should be 2. So for the ID 2 we are just updating the name and father name. So let me hit it. So you can see it is coming like, yeah, it is updated, but it is coming like optional and optional. So we are doing some wrong here into the code. Okay, so come to the implementation. So here might be we are not converting to the two string perfectly. So that is the issue. So, but yeah, it is working fine. So let me check that issue and then I will update you. So I made some changes here. You can see what we are going to do. We are just getting the value as an optional only. not as a string, and then we are converting that value mapping to the string, okay, or else we are just making it null and then saving to the database. Similar for the father and address also, and for the integer we are just mapping it to the integer, okay, and then setting to the database. So let me rerun it and then see how it is performing, and then we'll come to the difference between the put and patch. So yeah, so let it up and then come to the postman. Yeah, I think it is up. Okay, so we can hit it and then we'll see. It is up on 9190. I'm just going to, like earlier, the name and father name was saving like optional, and then the name and father name. And now just hit it. And this time also it is coming like optional, but here, okay, why it is okay, okay. Some changes we need to do. Let me, I think I've copy pasted something. So name and father name, okay. So what is this time we are getting the value, okay. And if it is father name, then get the value for the father name and just a string and then set this. Similar if it is address, then get the value, map it to the string and then set h is same. Okay, why it is happening like this then? Go to the database and run it again. Okay, come here, father name, address, age. Let me try for the age first and then we'll see. So let's say for the ID2 we are going to change the age. So let's say how the age is performing. We are changing from 24 to 23. Just hit it. So you can see it is changed to 23. So it is working fine. So these two problems I'm just going to see and then we'll see. So here you can see we are just setting the name, not father name and address. So that is why it is coming some error. So let's set as a father name. Let's set this as a address. Okay. So and this is the age. Okay. So it is working. Let me rerun it and then we'll see. So just going to rerun it. Okay, come to the postman and then try to hit the name, and let's say it is Sagar, and make the father name as Ram, something like that, and let change the age also, that is 4, oh sorry 40, something like that. Let me hit it. So you can see it is working fine, and we are not updating the address. Still the address is not being null. What was the case for the put? So in the put, when we are not using that particular field, then it was automatically set to the null. But this is not the case for the patch. So with the help of patch, we can update each field. Okay. We can update one field, we can update two fields. Not all fields are required to send in the form of the request. If you are not updating rest of the fields, then those fields are not required to send in the form of the request. So this is the advantage of patch over put. If you want to update some particular field, then go for the patch. If you want to update a whole record, then go for the put. So that is the video for today, guys. If you like this video, please hit the like button and please subscribe the channel for your support. Thanks.